Hey, what's happening, guys? Elton McFall here, in a few blocks from my place here in Montreal, East in the Hochelaga district. I actually finished this truck model, this vintage MPC kit. I believe it's from the 70s. I finished this a few days ago, but last week the weather was so shit. The whole week it was like no sun practically. I think the sun came out for like 2 hours, and depending on where you were, it was probably just overcast anyway, or mostly cloudy. Actually, I didn't build this for a while. I took it apart like I think more than a month ago, and then when I found out that Tamiya wasn't going to sell, they weren't allowed anymore to sell their spray paints here in Canada because of, I don't know, some stupid bullshit reason, basically. Because I mean, let's be honest. Look, I'm going to be 50 years old this year, you know. So I'm of the mentality that, like, look, you can die of anything. Everything's going to kill you. You know what I mean? When I, spray paint this stuff like normal people, you wear a mask of some kind, you know. It, boy, there's a smell of pizza coming from somewhere. It smells really good. So anyway, there's some kids going by here. Okay. You guys remember a couple of years ago I built that AMT 70 Ford LTD I made into a fire chief's car. I filmed it right here on the sidewalk here. But the thing is, because the sun is like right there, it's so low that even if I'm on the ground, my shadow is covering everything like here. So I'm just trying to, like, keep it like well lit here, not have my shadow come into there. So anyway, what I was trying to say is that I planned to do like some kind of really cool metallic, whatever color paint, because when you go to Canadian Tire, there's not much selection in that. There's like gold and silver, and then there's these paints that cost like 30 bucks almost. So I had this black paint anyway that I bought for my 63 Plymouth Fury model. And yeah, the paint looks great. It's funny because you can see it's a really old kit because the chrome bumpers and grill, the chrome is just finished. So these mags, actually, I got them off another kit, another AMT kit. When I got this kit, my friend Brian built this in the 80s. And he glued the hood shut. And I could see why he did that, because it would just obviously just slide off because it's in a slope. The motor's like a 318 or something. And show you underneath here. So one of the things I don't like about this model, I mean, the proportions are fantastic, right? You can see it's pretty accurate. It looks pretty real. But on the other hand, the rear end sags for some reason. I don't know why. So anyway, just to show you here. So basically, I broke both of the leaf springs, trying to get it to be a little bit higher in the back. And you can see I just shot that engine block and transmission just black like everything else. And interior has no detail. It's the same brown paint that I used for my 64 Impala. Those decals, those are off of the Texaco tanker, that chrome tanker. Sorry about that, because that tire came loose here. And anyway, like I was saying, those Texaco decals, they were actually from that chrome tanker trailer that I did many years ago. And they were actually for like whatever truck they would go on to match with the trailer, you know. And another thing I wanted to mention is that one of the things that sucks about one of the downsides, or I guess you could say risk, when you buy an old model or you get an old model and you rebuild it, you might break some things, like I did once with my 57 Nomad my friend Ed gave me. I broke the freaking the A post for the windshield broke completely. I also broke the rocker panel, and here in this case, like the frame came off easily, but the front window is really, look, it's all scratched up and everything. I couldn't even take it out. I would have broke it for sure. So I don't know what kind of glue that Brian was using, but look at the rear glass here. You see how over there on the post in the middle, it broke right off. I broke it with the post. So, but anyway, that's about it. I don't want to make this a long-winded thing because there's some kind of a pool here or something. I don't know, a bunch of kids there, and like I said, I wanted to film that on the sidewalk, but my shadow was just, totally in the shot. And it's funny, another thing I wanted to mention as I'm walking away here is that I almost didn't do this because, again, as much as I love YouTubing, and I think it's the best thing since sliced bread, when you're making like 200 bucks a month doing this, and you've been doing it for like, how long have I been doing this? 2007, freaking 18 years, man. And every year I make less and less money. It's almost like a big fuck you to Mr. McFall and a few other people like me. I don't know if I'm either brilliant or an idiot, but I'll always make models, I think, and just enjoying what I do, making videos, making models, documenting all that, and here, my little part of the world. I'm trying to think if there's something I forgot to mention as I'm walking. What is this here? Okay, well, I seem to have stopped recording. I hit a key there. I guess one of the downsides with oh Jesus, with recording with a phone rather than a real camera. So, but yeah, it was a simple build. But again, like I said, you know, when you're dealing with a kit that's vintage, it's already been built, unfortunately there's a good chance you're going to break some things. So, and also I knew there was something else I forgot to mention. I wonder if I could set this down somewhere again. The thing is that what's interesting for me anyway, here we go, let's put this on this charging station here for a difference. What do you think? We'll put that right there on top of all the graffiti, all that vandalism. Anyway, well, also, for one thing, it's funny to be filming this here because, you know, I've been living in this part of town for 11 years, right? And it's like I never lived in a part of town that had so many old vans, you know. You don't see many of them this old, but there's still quite a few of them from the 80s and 90s. Econolines, GMC Vanduras, Chevys, G20s. And, but anyway, it's funny because, you know, I built a shitload of models back in the 90s. And I got back into it, you know, a few years back or 10 years ago or 11 years ago. And this is the only van I've ever actually made. Almost all the models I ever made were cars. I made a few pickup trucks, but this is the only model I ever made of a van. And on top of that, I actually have another van to make, which is really rare. It's a freaking, it's a Japanese Chevy Astro that I bought for like 25 bucks off this young chick. She gave it to her father, and then he died of a heart attack. And she paid 100 bucks for it. It's from freaking Japan. And there's a young man. Ouais, je l'ai fait, je l'ai construit. There's a young man interested in what I'm doing, see? So, thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.